Hi, welcome to the second episode of the New England Gal Knits podcast. I am Janet. I live in Massachusetts with my husband, our two boys who are 10 and 12, our dog, and our cat. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at the New England Gal. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. And if you are a new viewer, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to check out my podcast. I hope you enjoy it. So the last 2 weeks have been extremely productive. Extremely busy, but extremely productive. I actually was able to finish 4 projects the past 2 weeks. Now granted, they were on the smaller side. 3 of them did have deadlines. They were gift knits, so I needed to make sure they were done and out the door on time. So that being said, I actually only have one of my finished objects to show you, but as I talk about the other 3, I'll certainly go ahead and put pictures up so you can see them. So the first project that I completed was the Voyager Cat. So in the picture it has my younger son in it, and he cannot take a serious photo to save his life. However, that hat was knit for my younger brother. He and his wife are actually in Disney World right now as we speak, and they're attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So he is dressing up as Mr. Smee, and his wife is dressing up as Peter Pan. So he asked me if I could go ahead and knit that for him, and I did. It is knit out of Vanna's Choice in the Scarlet colorway, and I did use the Clover pom-pom maker to go ahead and make the pom-pom. I absolutely love these. I know you can probably get the same effect with using cardboard. However, every time I try to use cardboard, it ends up lopsided and crooked. So I love these. My pom-poms come out round with them, and I highly, highly recommend them if you have problems with the cardboard like I do. So that was my first finished object, and the 2 others that were gift knits, I had shown one of them last time. It was almost finished on the podcast, and that was the Flax Sweater by Tin Can Knits, and they were baby sweaters. So they have a 3 to 6 month size. I knit them for my coworker who ended up having twins, a little boy and a little girl, and we ended up having a baby shower for her at work. So I got those done on time, and those were knit out of Felici, and they were knit out of yarn that I dyed. I had bought the Bare Felici from Knit Picks, and I've been playing with dye. So this was the colorway for the little boy sweater, and this one was the colorway for the little girl. So I held, this is fingering weight, I held them double so I could get the worsted weight, and which was great because I was able to get them knit up in no time at all at the worsted gauge instead of doing the flax light. So that was great. And then my last finished object is the Weasley Homestead Stocks by Erica Luter. And this again was knit out of Felici, a bare yarn I had dyed up. I wanted something on the fall color scheme. And so this is what I had come up with, and I absolutely love them. I love the way they came out. I like knitting vanilla socks, but I love the pattern in this. It was easy to memorize, and I like the fact that they are exactly the same size and the same length. Thanks to the pattern, I was able to make sure I counted and have them at the same size. With my vanilla socks, one tends to be shorter, longer, you know, in the leg or in the foot. They don't seem to match up perfectly at all. I could try 2 at a time socks to get them to match up. However, it gets tangled, I get frustrated. I've tried it a few times, and the 2 at a time just does not work for me. So anyways, I'm very happy, and I'm hoping that it starts cooling down so I can go ahead and finish these. And that is it for my finished objects. So I also have 2 half objects to show you. So the first one is this is my Pearl and Plum Patriot sock bag. I absolutely love this bag. It is great. I love the drawstring. I like how I can't get anything caught in zippers on this. So this, I had shown this yarn, let me actually get the half one onto a sock blocker. So I had showed this yarn in my acquisitions last podcast, and it's a Halloween colorway, so I wanted to start it as quickly as possible so that I can get these done, because Halloween is only a few weeks away. So here is the first one. So I am absolutely loving this. So this, here's the ball. It's a self-striping yarn. It's from the Yarn Jar. Here's her card here, and it is the Halloween colorway. So, and I have started on the second sock here, and they are, it looks like they are going to match up perfectly. I kind of finagled it. It was not very easy to do, but I cast on the same color and tried to make sure I had the same length tail so I could get them to match up, and so far it looks like they're going to match up perfectly. I'm a little worried about the heel. So the heel on this is out of, it was a mini from the Cozy Knitter from her Haunted, I think, colorway from last year. So I had picked up that, and it came with an orange mini. So I had used that for heels, toes, and cuffs. So this is what I have left. I'm hoping it's enough to get the heel done. If not, what I may do is try and pull some of this orange out, and it doesn't match exactly, but it's going to be technically in my shoe anyways. But if I don't have enough, I'll try and match it up with this color here and try and make the full heel out of it. So I have to say, these are knitting up so fast. This is her, I believe, 75-25 base. It is knitting up very quickly. I was able to get basically the whole foot of this done. So I had mentioned at the last podcast that my youngest son was going camping, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. It was actually postponed, and he ended up camping this past weekend on Saturday. My older son decided to volunteer to teach the younger scouts fire safety skills, so I ended up having to take him there a little bit later on in the evening when they were going to start lighting the fire. And I have to say, I knit the whole foot while sitting by the campfire talking with friends. It was a great evening, and the foot just flew off the needles. I don't know if it's the striping or if it was the yarn or the type of needles. I'm using bamboo higher 9-inch needles with these. I normally prefer metal. I had bought these when I was going away to visit a friend because I wanted wood needles for the flight, just in case I didn't want to take a chance of my chow-goos getting taken away. I love knitting with these. I'm not normally a wood fan, but I don't know if it's the yarn, if it's the needles, or if it's the combination of the two, but these are flying off the needles, and I'm really enjoying them, and I have no doubt I will have them ready for Halloween. So I'm very excited. And then the other half finished object, I hadn't finished the first sock yet last episode, but I had showed it almost completed. I believe I was on the foot. I had completed the heel turn, but these are, so here's the half finished object. So these are for my younger son. This is the Hawthorne Knit Picks base. It was a bare yarn I dyed up. He wanted it to look like Minecraft creepers, so I dyed it up with the green and the black, and here's a close-up of the ball. So I have finished the first sock, and I am currently working on the leg of this sock. So he's hoping I have these done soon. He loves wearing hand-knitted socks, whereas my older one likes wearing them to bed, but doesn't like wearing wearing them to school, where my youngest son, he has one pair that I knit him, and he could wear them and would wear them every day if I let him. So that's it for my socks, and I've been trying to plan out what the next socks I'm going to knit for the boys are. Ryan had said he wanted Hufflepuff colorways. He is actually all three, my husband and my two boys, all are Hufflepuffs. I am a Gryffindor. So, but Ryan really has been addicted to the audiobooks for Harry Potter and is loving them, and he wants Hufflepuff colored socks. So I said for Christmas I would knit him a pair, and then I asked my older son if he wanted Hufflepuff socks too, seeing he's a Hufflepuff as well. And he looks at me and goes, "No, Mom, I don't want Hufflepuff colored ones. I want Bruins color ones." I'm gonna insert a picture of the Bruins compared to the Hufflepuff colors, and they're the same colors. And I said to him, I said, "You do realize they're the same, right?" And he goes, "No, they're a little bit different." So I'm gonna see what I can do to make his yarn just a little bit different than Ryan's Hufflepuff ones. We'll see how successful I am with that. So anyways, that is on the horizon for my next pair of socks for them. I'm hoping, I have a couple days off next week, so I'm hoping to at least get them dyed up. Probably not started. I still want to do the Clark socks as soon as I have these two done. So, but that is it for socks. So as for sweaters, so I am still working on the Angelina pullover, which is by Mary Ann Benedetto, and it is out of the Interweave Knits magazine. So, and I showed this last time, but I am knitting it out of the Fiber Company Cumbria in the Dirt Wet Water colorway. I love this yarn. It is the most beautiful fabric I think I have ever knitted. It is very luxurious. It is 90, I'm pretty sure it's 90% wool and, yep, 90% wool and 10% mohair. And here is what I have. So I have bound off and finished the body. And like I said, it is just, I love the fabric. I did these, I could bind off. It's gonna have to get blocked, but this was my first time doing an I-cord bind off. I absolutely loved it. I found it very relaxing to do. I really enjoyed it. It did take quite a while to finish binding it off, but I love the finish. I love the way it's going to look once it's all blocked out. So I did start picking up for the arm. So I've normally, when I've done, this is kind of like a raglan sleeve, I've normally picked up stitches. This one has you casting on and then sewing the underarm afterwards. I'm interested to see how that works out. I've been avoiding seamed patterns. When I first started knitting, I knit a lot of rectangles that I sewed into fingerless mitts and just left a hole where the thumb went. I found that at the beginning when I seamed, it was very messy, so I'm gonna have to look up some YouTube tutorials and see if you guys have any recommendation for YouTube tutorials. That would be great. So I just started the sleeves. I haven't gotten much done on that, but it's just knitting in the round, so hopefully put on a few good movies this weekend and get one of these sleeves at least taken care of. So the next work in progress I have, after casting off 4 projects, I felt the need to cast on another one, and this was a little bit bigger. I figured after casting off 4, I'd treat myself to casting on something I've really wanted to knit for a while. Michael's was having a 25% off your total purchase, so I ended up picking up Patton's Classic Worsted, and this is in the I think it's the gray, dark gray marled colorway. So I had just wanted to do the dark gray. Unfortunately, I needed 7 skeins and they only had 6. So I ended up with this one instead. So I have cast on the Veronica cardigan, and this is by Shannon Cook. And this has been really, I don't know how well you can see that, flying off the needles. I've been enjoying it. It is very potato chippy, as the grocery girls like to say. The pattern is very memorizable, and I have been really just enjoying this. So this is an oversized cocoon cardigan, and I am just looking forward to, on those snowy days in the winter, throwing this on over a long sleeve t-shirt and just relaxing on the couch. So I am glad to have this started and hoping to have it done fairly quickly. So that is it for my works in progress. So there are a couple things I'm hoping to get on the needles pretty soon, and I may quickly cast on one of them. So last year when our local yarn shop went out of business, they were having, of course, huge sales, and I ended up picking up, this is Plymouth Yarn Company Encore Tweed. This is 75% acrylic, 22% wool, and 3% rayon, and it's one of those number colors, so T456. Anyways, I saw the color, and automatically to me this screams fall and autumn. So this is going to be a hat. So I'm going to do the Greystone Hat by Melissa Thompson, and it's a cabled hat, and I like it because you can either wear it slouchy, which to be honest with you I prefer slouchy on me, or you could fold up the brim and make it a tight cap on your head. So hoping to get this maybe cast on next week. I have 2 days off next week, so I'm hoping I'll be able to maybe get quite a bit accomplished and maybe get the hat done and off the needles for November, because it'll be the perfect November color. So the next thing I want to do is the Hayward by Julie Hoover, which is knit out of Brooklyn Tweed's Loft, and I have 6 skeins of the Snowbound colorway. So in the Hayward, it's kind of a boxy sweater, which is kind of my style. I like boxy, loose flowing tops, so it'll fit right in. Now I had picked up actually 6 of these loft skeins in a kit to do the yoga shawl by Andrea Mowry. I had started it, I got 3 skeins into the shawl, and my gauge was way off. For garments, I'm very good about swatching. I hate to get done a full garment and find out that I am just way off, it doesn't fit properly. So I swatch with those. With my shawls, I don't necessarily do that. I haven't run into an issue where my gauge has been so off on a shawl until this time. It was way too tight, way too small, and I was just not happy with it. So I ended up ripping it all out, and I've decided right now I'm into garments. I love knitting garments, so I would use this for the Hayward for the time being, and once I'm back into shawl knitting, I'll pick up some more and hopefully get the yoga shawl done. So that's one of the other things I want to knit. And the other thing I want to knit and cast on soon is out of Interweave Knits. So this is Interweave Knits. This is their fall 2017 magazine. I can honestly say I want to knit everything out of this magazine. Normally I pick up magazines and there's 2 or 3 things out of the magazine that I like. I would honestly knit everything in this magazine. I actually loved it so much I ended up subscribing to it, so I can't wait to see what the winter one brings us. But the thing I want to knit out of this is the Gold's Mobile Top by Danielle Charlson, and this is it here. I absolutely love this. I love the chunkiness. I love, if you can't tell already between the Angelina color pullover as well as the cabled hat I want to make, I'm in love with cables, so looking forward, I just have to find the right yarn for this. This one is knit out of Sugar's Bush yarns. Unfortunately, it's a little bit above my price range, so I need to find a good substitution for that. So that is it. That is it for the things I'm looking forward to. I want to start knitting. So as far as acquisitions, I don't have a whole lot to show you. I've been really trying to cut back on my shopping. So the only thing I've done, like I had said earlier, I had a 25% off coupon for Michaels. So I ended up picking up the Patton's Classic worsted, and then also I ended up picking up 2 skeins of the Patton's Croissant. And this is in the blue striped rag. And I love this color. I love the blues, there's orange and yellow and red, and I loved striped yarn. So I can't wait to get these on the needle. I'm thinking though, probably not going to get these done until the beginning of next year. I have a plan for socks next year. I had seen on one of the podcasts that somebody actually planned out their entire socks for a year. They picked out yarn and a pattern for each month. I'm hoping to do that. These will be my January socks. I just have to pick out a pattern for those. So I tend to, when it comes to my sock knitting, I don't go downstairs, I don't look at what I have. I end up buying yarn and casting it right on without looking at what I already have. So I'm hoping, you know, beginning of next year, going downstairs, going through my stash and pulling out what I will use and the patterns I want to use them with. Hopefully this will also cut back on me purchasing a lot of sock yarn. So that is it for acquisitions. So the past 2 weeks have been extremely busy, but at the same time there's been some relaxing moments in there. So 2 weekends ago, like I said, my younger son, his camping trip was canceled, so we ended up, the 4 of us, going out to dinner to a local Italian restaurant. I ended up having this butternut squash tortellini with an apple cider reduction. It was autumn in a bowl. It was absolutely delicious and just perfect for an October meal. So we ended up doing that, and then the following day it was 75 out and sunny, and my older son had a soccer game, so we ended up there, and I knit on my Halloween socks, and it was just perfect. I love it when it's nice and sunny and warm out and I can watch him play soccer while I knit on some socks. And then this past weekend, so it was a long weekend for us here in the United States, like yesterday, which was Monday, was Columbus Day. So we had a nice 3-day weekend. So on Saturday, like I said, my younger son had a camp out. So that evening, my older son had volunteered with a couple other Boy Scouts to teach the Cub Scouts some fire safety skills. So I ended up taking him up there for that. And then on our way home, we ended up stopping at Five Guys and picked up some burgers and fries and milkshakes, and then headed home and watched Doctor Strange, which I had never seen before. The 3 of them ended up going to the movies, to the theaters to see that. I don't know why I didn't. So, and they, you know what, now that I think about that, they did that with Wonder Woman on me too. I had plans with some friends and they ended up going to see Wonder Woman in the theater. So maybe this next weekend we'll go ahead and rent that so I can see it as well. So anyways, we just relaxed Saturday night with our movies and our burgers, and I did some knitting while watching the movie. And then Sunday and yesterday it was rainy and on the colder side. So Sunday we just kind of stayed in, watched some movies, I did some knitting, nice relaxing day. And then yesterday I ended up deciding to treat myself. So I had not been for a manicure and a pedicure in months, and I decided I would take some time for myself, and it was just perfect. So I ended up on my way there stopping at Starbucks and picking up a maple pecan latte, which is absolutely delicious and highly recommend it. and then ended up in the pedicure chair drinking my latte and knitting on my socks, and it was just a nice peaceful hour away. No boys fighting or calling for my attention. It was just perfect. So in the next coming weeks, next week I have Thursday and Friday off, and then I have the following Monday off. So I may next week or next Monday go get another pedicure and manicure done and treat myself, because it doesn't happen very often that I have time just to spend on myself without running around with the boys or doing something for them. So I'm looking forward to that. So I hope you guys have a next few great weeks ahead, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye!